insight, and the insight is that the human beings are, we consider ourselves very special, as though we don't belong as though we don't belong to the earth. And this attitude belongs both to the people who are of a rationalist school of thought and those who are not of a rationalist school of thought. Some of these divisions occur on the lines of science or religion or belief or disbelief or whatever. But whatever that might be, people from both sides, people who think from either side of the brain, the right side or the left side, tend to see human beings as somehow independent of the laws that govern the earth. I was thinking that I wonder sometimes how different human beings are from, say, the elements, the chemical elements that constitute our physical being. If you look at the chemicals in the periodic table, they tend to display certain qualities amongst themselves. One of the things, for instance, that you can do with these elements is that you can divide them into certain kind of categories. So you can say, here is this family, there is this other family of elements, and they behave in a certain fashion. So could it be possible that we can also look at human beings and say, these are the broad categories, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 families into which human beings can be broken in terms of their characteristics. And then there are other implications of this way of seeing things. For instance, the matter of our innate nature and how we react to certain circumstances. I think we human beings have, especially thinking human beings, have become very used to denying our nature. Those who don't think, those who don't have any knowledge or awareness do not know their nature. But those who have learned a bit about, who have gotten education or awareness, have also come to know their nature but deny it because we think we can choose to be someone else who we are not. But that is not the case. We do have something that is an innate nature, which may be transformable, but which is inescapable at any given time. You cannot escape being who you exactly are at that time. Such is the case of elements, for instance. Elements can, under certain conditions, transform into certain other elements, or if not elements, then compounds certainly can change from one compound to another kind of composition. Or there is the matter of isomerization, where the internal structure of an element or a compound changes. So we human beings are ourselves, and we must honor and respect our given nature. For instance, if a certain thing repels us at a certain time, or if a certain thing attracts us at a certain time, why do we go on denying that this thing is attracting me or this thing is repelling me? Why don't we, I'm not saying we just jump on to whatever attracts or repels us. If something repels us, we say, no, we hate it, or if it attracts us, we say, no, do I want it right now? That's not the implication. The question is simply, why do we not even accept the fact that this certain thing is attracting me, and if this certain thing we then decide is not a useful or not or is a harmless thing, then I should stay away from it. That is step 2. And the first step, why do we deny that? Because we do deny that. We say things like, no, I should not even be looking at it, this is not permissible, this is not ethical, this is not religious, or whatever. That is true, don't do it, but why do you even deny? And if something attracts you, if you're attracted towards, let's say, a certain kind of vocation or a profession or a certain calling in your life, why do you deny it? Now, it may be so that you are under certain circumstances in which you cannot pursue what attracts you. Well, let me give you the example of a magnet that is on one side of the screen and is being attracted to another magnet that is on the other side of the screen. Well, they're not going to get connected because there is a screen between them, let's say a paper between them. So the magnets are attracted to one another, but physically they're not connected because there is a paper. But that's fine. You can have a block in your path, but why do you deny the fact that you are being attracted to something? I think if we start seeing things as they are and accepting our nature, our world about us as we see it, before taking any decisions come secondary. When we just accept the fact that we are seeing a thing a certain way, this, in other words, is telling ourselves the truth. I mean, imagine what would life be like if carbon started lying to itself about what it is and what it wants, and it tries to sort of break away. I think a lot of wood that I see around myself in this room, a lot of trees would just start breaking down because carbon doesn't want to stay where it is and says, I think I am something else. What if phosphorus doesn't burn, and says it doesn't become combustible because it says I think it's kind of arrogant, it's kind of bad to burn. I don't want to burn. So what would we do? If we begin to accept our innate nature and accept ourselves, openings will come to us. What we should do, what we ought to do, will become clearer to us. If we don't want to stay a certain way, for instance, as a filthy scum, then we might transform into somebody who is a better being. But in the first step, why don't we accept ourselves? What would the world be like, the natural world be like, if elements that go to constitute human bodies as well start denying themselves? What are we doing to ourselves by denying ourselves? Are we accepting ourselves as we are, or are we denying? Because we can think about denying. That is the question.